1,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of thriller. Can you dig it?
Reverse the mutant! Bingo bongo! Let's get on the Congo! This is Fanfiction episode 9.
Sneaky, no, you're not allowed to say that anymore.
I don't care. You can't stop me. And
We
I'm
actually
Sneaky Devil. And we got Max Force, Atin, and Nosehead here. But you all get in here. There. Now that I've properly chilled out, because nobody else will.
You never even ask us to do it.
Yes, I do.
You never ask us to
I have
fucking chill.
literally said at the end of every single stream, please tell everyone about this stream. What
thought you
part
meant
of that is never asking you to tell people about this stream?
That's an entirely different shill.
I fucking chilled for you on my stream, you shit. Shut up.
Then why have you said I... Oh my god. You are stupid. Put down
Yes,
the
we established.
retard juice.
Well, I can't drink the retard juice. You're the one who's drinking it with all your fucking alcohol.
Excuse you. It's Sneaky Special Talk.
No.
Alright, so,
It's
let's
magic
see.
happy juice. Get it right.
We got some edgy Konosuba fics we could read.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh, fucking god.
How do you make Konosuba edgy? I'm curious.
Oh,
Let darkness have
are
what
you
you
are
want.
you sure? Are you sure you want the answer to this question?
And I don't think that's edgy. I think that's just disgusting.
Well, yes.
Oh, we have such a plethora to pick from. Okay, so Fate Stay Night, High School D times D, Vanilla, Halo, Self-Insert.
Okay, I'm questioning how Halo could be edgy.
What?
Here, anyway. No,
I would like.
I'm a little curious.
What flavor of Konosuba would you prefer?
I'm sorry, hang on. How do you make Halo? Really? Did you and I play the same game?
No, I realized when I said it, I'm like, wait,
all I'm hearing is Halo being
so
said
many
a
ways
bunch,
you could
so
make it
so
edgy.
we're gonna do Halo.
Alright.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just
more curious.
Alright, and let me just distribute this out.
The Flood exists.
The Flood exists in general. It's now edgy.
Okay, look, a global,
Not inaccurate.
universal extinction mechanic is pretty edgy.
Actually, come to think of it, the Gravemind himself is pretty edgy.
Of course, as always,
just like the fucking kid
I
who
am
just, like, makes
required to
puns.
mention to you all to not contact the authors featured in this podcast, as Twitch considers that harassment. Now that we've got that out of the way, let us get
With
Okay,
the
well then,
oldest being like 10, I think.
yeah,
Look, point is, he'd be older than 17.
yeah. Well, hold on. The Covenant War went on for more than.
Covenant War went on for almost 100
Is the
years.
stream working now
No,
for everyone else?
What?
Ricky,
And
there was time for 2 generations to know nothing but the Covenant War.
Okay.
hold on, I'm looking this up.
Alright, so this is Halo Suva, a Spartan in a Warrior's New Wonder World. In case everyone's caught up to speed. Now that apparently Twitch just absolutely foobarred the stream a little bit. So
Okay,
that's
it was
great.
about 35 years almost.
Right. So they
I
wouldn't
thought
be
it was longer.
17.
Nope, 35 years.
So yeah, so they wouldn't be 17.
Yeah, he'd be like 27.
Yeah.
Well, no, how long was he in service, though?
He was actually one of the first Spartan 3s, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Well,
What-
according to the Google stuff, he finished training in 2545.
Yeah, but
And he was
Reach was
to-
what, 20...
2552, according to
Yeah,
the
No, it was
So-
2551.
Yeah, so
No,
he's at least late 20s. Or mid to late 20s.
Or, well, sorry, he died in 2552.
Okay, so 25.
Did the Halo games take less of a part of the war than I think they did?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
swear there was at least a year between 1 and 3.
No, not really. Very
Jeez.
short period of time.
Everything you know is a lie.
Anyway, so
apparently.
as I was saying, so we all are clear that Noble Six in this instance is clearly the author self-inserting himself in the place of
No,
the
to be
Spartan.
fair, they could just be stupid, Sneaky.
Okay, yes, it's fair. They could be stupid. However, I'm going to edge on the side of edge and claim that this is a self-insert XP. Hello, Moth.
Hey,
So
Mom,
anyway,
welcome to the stream.
17-year-old Noble Six encounters a woman who calls herself a goddess, whom gives him an option to enter a new world under siege by an evil demonic king and save it. For some god-forsaken reason, this is randomly capitalized, the man accepts it. Oh, hello, Spartan! Would you like the chance to save humanity again? No!
Even though I've spent literally my entire life being indoctrinated. In fact, actually, they had it even. The Spartan 3s were actually even more zealous than the Spartan
Yes!
4s.
I was
Because the
about
Spartan
to-
3s are orphans.
I was about to say, in what world would a Spartan just be like, "Hey, do you want to save humanity?" Nah, fuck no, I did my time. Like, they're all
No, to be fair,
workaholics. Like,
To be
most of
fair,
them are
there were
workaholics,
Spartan
right?
2s that would absolutely react that way.
But most of them are workaholics.
I was gonna read Tojo's fic first.
I
but he
mean, the
never linked it
politically
to me,
correct
I
term
think.
is heavily indoctrinated.
Did
but
he ever
yes.
link it to me?
But I was gonna say, but there were plenty of Spartan 2s who ran away or washed
Let me
out who
check.
would be like, "What are you, some kind of god version of Halsey? Fuck off, bitch."
Oh no, he did link it to me. Here it is.
So, what are we reading? A different fic first?
Yeah, Tojo said he has to go, but he wants us to cover his fic first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, drop link.
Yeah, I'll just drop a
Naruto
link.
Sekiro. Oh, actually, yeah, no, this could work. Sort of.
Just fucking dumb. Let me put it right on in there. Alright, so we'll come back to this trash heap, and we'll start on this one though. Shift gear time, Naruto Sekiro crossover. Did I drop the link in there? No, I didn't. Boom. Nope, that's not the right link. Excellent. Try this one more time. Alright. Now, I have been given permission by this guy to contact him as much as possible. Literally just endlessly contact him. He has given full permission for you to do so.
Only this one, though.
This specific fic, just spam the guy. He loves it.
Who wrote this thing?
The mighty Morgoth. He's in our chat.
Ah,
Oh boy, this should be good.
Nichi no Senshisi. The way forward is mired in death and sacrifice, yet he is undaunted. The world is laden in Let me get my deep voice. The way forward is layered in death and sacrifice, yet he is undaunted. The world is laden with treachery and war, yet he is undeterred. The nations have set their armies onto him, yet he is unhindered. The greatest of soldiers of age stand against him, yet he is undefeated. By his testament, if it is for the glory of my clan, nothing will stop my path to divinity. Praise the Emperor!
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be an Uzumaki twin story, isn't it? Because I see Naruto in that character tag there.
And this is why I always say, read your shit out loud. I am the main voice here, SneakyDevil. The collected voice is Max Force. The high-pitched, squeaky complaining is Atin. And nose hair sounds like he's talking out of his asshole if he had a mic implanted in it.
It is neither squeaky. Well, no, it is complaining, but it is not squeaky or high-pitched.
God damn, my summary is edgy. Okay, honestly, no, okay. So
It's not that bad. We're like,
I'm gonna be straight with you, fam. The first two, good. If you left it at the first two, undaunted, undeterred, you were good. But it's like you took the joke though, and you kept going with it, and you kept going with it. You kept beating that dead horse, and there was no horse left to beat. You were just pummeling a hole into the ground by the time we got to the end of it.
yeah, it's certainly not the worst we've seen for Edge.
No, it is certainly not the worst edgy summary we have seen.
At least he can walk. At least he can, walk away with that much.
And it's got proper sentence structure. It doesn't have any of that stupid tag shit.
I would say, just looking at the first couple paragraphs, just looking ahead, no obvious grammar errors.
Yeah. So I mean, you at least got it on the technical level, and I will give you credit where credit is due. It's just your summary is not a summary. You had a theme, you started the theme, and then you didn't go anywhere with the theme in the summary. You just kind of just kept repeating the theme over and over again, as if it was content.
Later. Oh boy, yeah.
But I mean, otherwise, again, it's fun.
Isley's here.
Oh, good, Isley's here.
Ah, wonderful. Our research assistant.
Indeed. No, I mean, this is a fairly popular story for the sections in, I suppose. 85 favorites, 113 follows, with just 2 chapters. Not too many people will be clicking on secular stories, so I guess that's pretty good. Chapter 1, Stolen. Oh good, no edgy ANs. As the last vestiges of dusk disappeared and the pale moon rose into the sky, tranquil peace settled over Konoha, the village hidden by leaves. The ruby light of the sun faded beneath the horizon, giving way to the glittering shine of the stars and the enthralling radiance of the full moon. Yeah, purple pro's a little bit harder there, mate. Throughout the vast swaths of verdant green forest that surrounded the city, the Higurashi sang their songs, penalty, flog yourself. The chirps, loud yet contained within
I would say, Sneaky, be careful. This person may in fact be a nut. They may in fact flagellate themselves.
Possible. They did give their story to me.
And actually listen to Sneaky, we take no responsibility for self-inflicted flagellation wounds.
Exactly.
Please do not do that.
Do I have any comment about how you're setting up the narrative? Not quite. I mean, it's certainly better than most of the shit we've seen. It's a bit purpley for me. But, you know,
I would say,
that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad
I would say
thing.
there are times when less is not always more, but this is in fact one of those times.
Wait, is this a submitted story? Yes. This is by the Mighty Morgoth, the lad in chat. And once again, I just want to make sure everyone knows that they can contact this person as much as possible, and that he heartily encourages it.
Only this one, though.
Yes. And yet, within a small facility on the far outskirts of the village, the serenity of nature was broken by the pained cries of a woman in labor. As two midwives worked tirelessly to make sure the child was born safe and healthy into this world, a man paced frantically, whilst mumbling hysterically to himself. "Oh, heavenly Sennin Sama, please let this birth go smoothly." He closed his eyes and clasped his hands together in mock prayer, though perhaps he took it seriously, so then it wouldn't be mock prayer. The problem I have right here is actually good use of hyphens, actually correct usage of hyphens. So
Yeah.
pat yourself on the back.
Don't see that often. I don't recall the sage ever being prayed to in the modern
No,
world,
no. However, there are monks. There is a religion around it. But my small little issue right here is that mock. You use the word mock in front of prayer, and then you had the hyphen, the little hyphen area. And while it works, the problem I have with it is that's a perspective opinion. The narrative is giving an opinion on what he is doing. Now, if this is from a certain person's perspective, then it's understandable. But so far, what you've given us is Omni. And Omni isn't supposed to have opinions on what the person's doing. Is this your first deck? No, it's my second deck. I'm gonna use lots of work. What was the first one? Narrative Ruby. Super Radio. Yeah, well, that's a good one. You didn't give us that one. As the midwives attending his wife looked at him with a mixture of embarrassment and shame. The eldest woman, in her late 60s, with graying brown hair tied in a bun, still crouched between the woman's open legs, ready to receive the newborn, spoke. Compress that. Other than that, no problems. And it's a bit awkward with phrasing, but no, it still works. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just stylized. The other midwife, much younger than her colleague by at least 40 years, briefly rolled her eyes at the behavior of the Hokage before a sharp cry from the patient quickly saw her applying another soaked towel to her forehead. Now, we harp on details quite a bit on this podcast, both the author giving too much, randomly giving them, or giving too little in situations that call for it. I'm going to use this point right here, is because you've been doing well so far. You're just randomly describing these midwives. Unless it's somehow important, I don't see why spending the time and the pacing to describe the midwives is needed. And again, this is from an Omni perspective so far. You haven't given us any sort of declarative on whose perspective this is from. If you are making this from the perspective, again, if you could have included all of this, everything so far. You probably could have included with maybe a little bit of rewording here and there if it was from the Yodan's perspective, because you could have portrayed it as him literally just focusing on everything else but what's currently happening to try and calm his nerves because he's panicking. And you could have used this as a characterization moment. But again, you would have had to stick with that perspective throughout the entire rigmarole, or if it switches to Naruto after a time skip or something like that, that would be also usable. the issue here is that you're just giving descriptions of characters.
I was gonna say, to make a long point short, why do we give a damn who or what these midwives look like?
Right, that too. I mean, you don't always need to, like, these people are important and now I'm going to describe them. But at the same time, just randomly describing a person kind of also signals, like, something's about to happen to them, so here's a mental image of what they look like.
Now, here's the thing. If in the next 3 paragraphs, these midwives get yanked to shit, and it goes into, like, a lurid description of what their hair looks like when it's matted with blood, okay. Little excessive, but I'll grant you that it was then necessary.
But again, it wouldn't be necessary still, because it's still an omni perspective as far as we're aware.
Weird flex, but okay.
Because again, that sort of detail wouldn't be focused on by an omni perspective. The omni perspective is looking at everything that's happening, not, the branch and how it's being coated in blood and shining in the full moonlight. Like, we aren't Tolkien here, and nobody should try to be Tolkien. You know? Not that many people like Silmarillion either. Just saying.
As someone who tried going to the original Lord of the Rings stuff, boy, Tolkien loved his details.
Look,
Yeah.
I've read the original Lord of the Rings. I enjoyed it. I read the original Silmarillion. God, I hated it.
Yeah.
Just
and you said
Tolkien
it is...
does a lot of stuff great, including fantastic world building, well-written lore.
The issue, though, is that is all world building, and honestly,
Yep.
I would be far more interested if he'd been making it with the idea of an encyclopedia rather than a story.
Yeah.
Well, he
I think
was.
I think as a storyteller, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
As a
Because
storyteller, he does some stuff well and some stuff not well. Very not well. Including taking too long to describe. Like, we don't actually need a 5-page description of Lothlorien or Rivendell. Is it nice? Yeah. Do we need that? No. Do we need to know what the wild men of Dunlin looked like? Yes. Do we need to know what the staples of their diet were? No.
Apparently he says that it is from the perspective of Minato. Is that correct, Morgoth? Is he dead? We kill him?
I guess
He may be dead.
It's possible he's dead. But I can't continue my point until you respond.
Not you.
I don't care about what you think.
Oh no, I had to go.
Alright, so he's dead. Everyone, F's in chat. He's not dead. Okay. You gonna elaborate? I'm saying the midwives are important. Okay. Okay, so it is an omni perspective. But, okay. So, it's an omni perspective, not from Minato's... wow, I am already blanking out on Minato's name. Minato's perspective. Okay, so hint on introducing characters. Again, I am no master at this, but I have read an absurdly large amount of both published fiction and written fiction of the free variety. Not just fan fiction, some original stuff too. Not much of it though. Usually it's pretty short. Characters should not be introduced immediately by their looks. The first thing the audience learns about a character should not be what their hairstyle is.
Or what clothes they're wearing, or what color their eyes are, or what their measurements are.
Especially
It shouldn't
that
be any
last
of
one.
those.
Yeah. The first introduction to a character should be an action they're doing, something they're saying, or something they're thinking. You can introduce how the character looks later on. They see themselves in the mirror. They're panicking and they fall over in the middle of battle and they see their reflection.
No, that's the worst one.
Well, yes, but at the same time, when your adrenaline's running high and you fall over and you're just like huffing and puffing, looking down into a puddle at yourself, you can use that as an excuse as to why your character is now looking at or herself.
Yes.
It is feasible. It is workable. Is what my point is. Like, it shouldn't just be like, hello, yes, this is the character. They are important. How do we know where they're important? Oh, well, you see, I'm describing them as their first attribute. It's like, well, that's great and all. But again, this is an omni perspective. This is not an opinion thing. This is not you entering a shop and you noticing that the shopkeeper has their hair up in a bun and that they're older and, the sort of thing people might notice that, distincts one person from another. Obviously, maybe if the color of their eyes is particularly eye-catching, like it's, from some freaking light shade of hazel or something, you might notice that. But browns and blues, people pretty much look right past that. Like, they have eyes. It's only when the eyes are like, yeah, this eye's blue and this eye's brown, then people are like, wait, what?
I would say, or even you can go with, like, an eye color that's like, brown.
What?
Like,
brown's very common.
Yeah, that's very. What the fuck do you mean uncommon?
I've never seen anybody with brown eyes. I see blue.
Brown, hazel brown, and hazel green.
I have seen
brown eyes, you fuck.
Where are you
it's
living?
not like I've ever looked deep into your eyes. That's not been something on my itinerary.
Well, that's kind of my point, though. You've never looked deep into our eyes because brown in your brain doesn't register.
Approximately 79% of the world population has brown eyes.
I have
Thank
never
you, World
seen
Atlas.
someone with brown eyes. Where are you living? In an Aryan time capsule?
Well, no, he lives in Chicago. It's like the opposite.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Uncommon eye color.
It's an uncommon eye color, brown.
Alright, I was wrong. Fuck
Holy
off.
No, see, our friend group has to be.
I have brown eyes, you dumbass.
Quiet there, lolly boy.
What the fuck does that? What?
Oh my god.
Uh,
Oh my god. Okay. We're just gonna move right on past everything
Yeah.
At has said.
Just forget that whatever happened just now, please.
okay.
An uncommon eye color.
I was wrong. How many more times do I have to say it, you nut?
We won't let you live this down for at least another day or two.
I'm
Oh,
aware.
good. Arn has clipped it.
Excellent.
Sweet
Thank you.
At
Christ.
lore review.
Oh boy, here we go.
Atin lore review. What is that supposed to mean? Fuck this. I'm gonna go play Magic the Gathering and get angry at being mad as screwed.
Oh,
Oh,
god.
did he just leave?
No, I'm still here.
He's still here.
You'd have heard a noise if I left, you dumbass.
Okay.
No, Discord doesn't seem to like me and doesn't do that sometimes.
Alright, so anyway, my point being is don't introduce a character if they're important, especially. Don't immediately introduce them by their hairstyle. While it is usually important to let people know enough details for them to build, a general idea of what's going on, you're supposed to lay the framework as an author. You're not supposed to be like, again, going back to Tolkien, giving like exact details of what this person ate for the past 12 years, calorie by calorie.
Well, no, you can let them know what their culture was like, but don't just like fucking do that dumb shit.
No shit, Sherlock. But still, that's my point, though. It's called exaggeration. Just leave them as midwives. An action occurs, and a midwife jerks her head back, her brown bun coming undone or something. She turns her head, blonde hair swishing. You can subtly slip the descriptors of people into actions and events. Just spending a paragraph going, oh yes, these are the exact descriptions of this person. While you did avoid a majority of that, you still did it. Tolkien was my inspiration. That is I'm not gonna say it's a poor choice, because he is certainly a position to aspire to. But his writing style, I will say, is not something you should be pulling from.
Well, remember, he was. I think one of the most important things to point out is he wasn't a writer.
True enough.
Yeah, he was a fucking.
He was a language professor.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why he fucking autistically went through everything and gave everyone a lore and a language.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it's very obvious he had a background in. I'm only in the first 10% of the first book for Lord of the
I was going
Rings.
to say,
it's very
the
clear he was
important thing to
building
remember
the
is that
language
when he
from
wrote
the
them, he
ground up.
wasn't writing books. He literally was a professor of mythology, and he was like, boy, it sucks that England doesn't have any myths. So what if I just... He's like, myths are just made up bullshit anyway, for the most part.
What if I just wrote some?
Yes, that was literally it. What if I just wrote some?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, English doesn't have any myths.
Remember, this was World War I to World War II England. There really weren't any English myths. What they have?
Well,
King Arthur.
There was Celtic. Well, I mean, I guess that's technically
No,
not English.
That's not
literally
English.
Celtic. You were just about to say Celtic.
The English have Celtic myths.
But
Jesus,
corrected
that
myself.
is almost as bad as an uncommon eye color like brown.
No, I corrected myself though.
I appreciate you just throwing Atin under the bus as hard as you could right there.
He's going to be used as a standard for the rest
like,
of the
all of Arthurian legend, which is pretty fucking hefty.
That's pretty... Well, to be fair, a lot of myths like
okay,
that
but
did
Max,
take
compared
from...
to something like Celtic, Norse, Greek.
True enough, yeah.
Okay, that is not fair to compare someone to the Greeks.
No, I'm using it as an example of extensive lore.
That's fair.
The entire point was
would probably have been, a bit larger if they'd done a better job of record keeping.
Yeah, but
I mean, to be fair,
the English were more concerned about taking over some backwater place for their tea instead of, bookkeeping.
Isn't Arthurian myth a mishmash of Celtic, Roman, and French and other such things? More or less, yeah.
Well, I was just saying, it's for the most part, it's Welsh.
Well, the French thing was mostly just because some guy wanted to put his new OC into Arthurian legend.
Well, no, you're also forgetting the important thing, which is... I would say, you're forgetting one of the most important things, which is, remember, they went through a very dramatic language shift several times, because they got conquered by the French, so then it was French, then they got sick of the French, so they put an actual Englishman on the throne, and he didn't like the French, so he was like, English is the official thing for everything, fuck French.
And then they just, tried to take over
I mean,
France
honestly, we have very poor records of that entire period of history from England.
But, I don't think it's a matter of England not having myth, and more they share some,
Max, I've read a biography of it. That was literally what it was.
No, it's not. Yes, but the Arthurian legends
Max, in Tolkien's opinion, England did not have their own myths.
Yes.
So that's why he wrote it.
That should be the qualifying statement.
Okay, are you sure it wasn't a matter of just reminding people of all the cool shit they had? Because there's a lot of old shit, like the rules of the Fae, dragons, so on and so forth.
Well,
Like, there's a lot of
there was a
established
lot of
stuff. But
It just it was more.
I feel like
a lot of that
probably
stuff was
just like,
established,
guys,
but was
we have all
never
this cool
connected.
stuff. Why don't we use it?
Anyway,
The point is, he wrote Lord of the Rings to rectify what he saw as a problem.
past Tolkien's foibles. Blah blah blah. Aren't you supposed to be our Yodaim Hokage? Pull yourselves together. It's a childbirth, not another war. For love of, stop begging. The Vokodo sent in only Christian God. Other midwife, much younger than her colleague, rolled her eyes, cry of a patient, blah blah blah. The cold wetness met her warm sweat brow. The patient gave a painful smile. Thank you, sweetie. His wife, though only half conscious from pain, still held
What?
on to consciousness, even though her
God
pelvis
damn it, Twitch!
started
Why
flowing
did you
hunger.
switch me off of night mode?
I don't know. She wasn't
Just fuck
Uzumaki
you.
after all. Result of heritage, strength to scold her husband, blah blah blah. Comfort me instead of praying. I mean, again, the dialogue is fine, but you seem to really enjoy separating dialogue from the paragraph that it's being said from. Which, I mean, again, this is stylism, personal preferences. It's just odd. A little bit. To me. Personal preference, stylism, disclaimer. Minato stopped his pacing, blah blah blah, looking at, yeah, if this was from Minato's perspective, I feel like your narrative would go so much better in terms of what's the perspective? Is it really just perspective? Is that the right word to use in this? I guess in terms of narrative perspective, you're giving a lot of detail for Omni that Omni normally wouldn't focus on. Let's see, there was only one way. Oh, Heavenly Senate, please protect my crazy wife and child. Get the hell over here. Oh, Senate, tell me what's coming. A lot of cursing to the Senate. Praying to the Senate, too. It's one thing if the husband's freaking out and having an atheist in a foxhole moment, but I don't know how to feel about the whole deification of the Senate as common parlance, at least. Kushina, Riwako, what do you see? It's a girl, a healthy baby girl. Wait, there's another. Allow me. Are you certain, Taji? Are you certain there's another baby?
Well, you know what? My mistake. This was my shank of meat from a cow for lunch. Let me just throw that in the fire.
I just left it in there.
Oh, good lord, that went a direction I did not expect it to.
What, Planned Parenthood? Hello!
Jesus Christ.
We are so getting demonetized.
Oh,
Aren't we already demonetized?
Yes.
No, we're not. You can still earn money. You're just not earning any.
Yeah,
There's a difference.
that's fair enough. Here it comes. It's a boy, last child. As the next and last child was. Last is not really a qualifier I would use. This is me nitpicking you because you have written a coherent and cohesive story so far. I mean, we're only like 1,000 words in at best, but still, if you keep this pattern up, I mean, we're not gonna read this whole fucking story. We're not gonna be here for 4 hours. But again, just the nitpicking coming out because you are doing decently. Next and last. That would be used for a quantifier of 2 or more. So 3, more than 2. So 3 or more. Where in that instance you'd be using final child. It would just be next child in this instance if you want to get technical to writing. cradled in their arms. You'll make a fine replacement. They clamped it, cut it. Tamago Naruto. You did great. I will give you credit. You didn't name the female Naruko. God, I hate that that's actually not. Oh, they're so cute, you know. Even after giving birth, she still managed to sputter her verbal tick. I mean, verbal tics tend to be things that you can't help but do, even when you're tired. Why they're verbal tics?
I would say, in fact, generally speaking, if you're trying to avoid it and you're tired, it's more frequent.
Let's see. Our kids, Kushina, they're our children. Of course they are. Peaceful expression. She started falling asleep. Blah blah. You know, your love reminds me of blah blah blah. It's Biwaka. Again, this would be another instance where it would have been better if you had started off by naming the character, because it's not an original character, and because, again, this is fan fiction and not an original fiction. Naming the character is actually a better means of describing someone than describing them in a fan fiction. Because when you go, oh, it's Minato, you don't need to explain what Minato looks like, because everyone reading a Naruto fan fiction should probably already know what Minato looks like. Same for Biwaka. I mean, again, it's like, oh, she's Sarutobi's wife. We don't really got a good idea. But she's Sarutobi's wife, which means she's old and she's currently a wet nurse, so she's got a certain outfit that I'm going to conjure in my mind for. So, it's an old woman with gray hair, and she's, in a nurse's outfit. Or a wet nurse outfit, or, some sort of outfit that you would use to help giving birth. Like, this is all imagery that the person themselves can conjure up in their head. You only need to lay the framework for it. It saves you time. It saves you pacing, and you don't need to shoot yourself in the foot describing stuff you don't need to describe. Did we find the other sneaky foibles? I don't know. Did we?
I don't think we find any sneaky foibles. Unless Isley's really gone off the rails and begun confusing us for completely separate individuals now.
Possible. Let's see. The opposite of Kushina, blah blah. Never understand how a bitch like you deserve happiness. But again, this is from Omni perspective, and suddenly we're getting thought processes. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can do that in Omni perspective. I've seen it enough in published works, but it's a little bit awkward where you're suddenly switching from opinionated. Sorry, you're switching from Omni unopinionated supposedly perspective to an opinionated thought. Again, this is why I tend to preference that people should typically pick a perspective to tell a story from, especially as starting authors. Because now that you've done this, now that you've had one person give their mental opinion, your characters should be continuing to do that throughout your story, because right here, I'll never understand how a bitch like you deserved happiness, but perhaps, unless she's going to be an extremely important antagonistical character, which she might be. This might be the big reveal, but again, this is sort of a red flag in this instance, because this is a fan fiction and not an original fiction. So again, we all have expectations coming into it because it is a fan fiction. Maybe she's going to be an antagonist in this instance, and it's possible. But this is a red flag in this scenario if she does become important like this. Because you don't want to clue your readers in on your plot twists immediately. If you want to try and build up suspense, you can't break pacing that you've previously set. If you haven't had the thoughts of any other characters up until this point, and then suddenly this one character is suddenly having their thoughts narrated to the audience, people know shit's about to go down, and that sort of, breaks the surprise.
Not only they know shit's about to go down, they may in fact begin deciding that this might be the main character.
That too.
If we've gone No thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts. Thoughts. Internal.
Wow, she's certainly a thought.
You know, as I was saying it, I knew you were going to go for the lowest common denominator, but I held hope that you
Well,
wouldn't.
This
No.
is sneaky. He's always going to go for the lowest common denominator.
Naruto is
That's the
like
whole
the
point of this
late
fucking stream.
Naruto, yeah.
That's true. It is.
Naruto is the laziest feminization of Naruto possible. Yes, that is true, and it sort of makes sense as to why Naruto would be calling a female version of himself Naruto, because he's unoriginal. And it's, that sort of whole genetic heritage, we're bad at naming things, joke that Kishimoto put into the story. But the fandom calling Naruto when it's just female Naruto as named by Minato and Kushina, that's when you start to get a little bit like, come on, really? It's like Harriet instead of Harry and Femme each defects. I mean, Harriet's a name? I don't want to interrupt much, but I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about the story of catching your breath style attack on Titan story? What do you guys think about the idea of a catching your breath style attack on Titan story?
What does catching your breath mean? Do they mean like a downtime story?
In which case,
I
that
suppose,
would be
yeah.
like what, a one shot or something, or
Yeah,
a one shot or a collection of one
It'd
shots.
have to. It'd
Those
have to be
exist.
it would have to be a collection of one shots, like what happened in between, each action scene. But I mean, Attack on Titan does a decent job of showing the downtime, because
Catching your breath
on
is catching your breath is a self-insert where the MC was only partially familiar with the material.
what?
That does not bring to mind that kind of
No,
story.
not at
Yeah.
all. No.
Yeah,
Also,
no,
that's
that does not bring to mind catching
Though
breath.
I
I
will
was gonna
say,
say-
Attack on Titan, their pacing is fantastic. Their
It
story itself is questionable, but the pacing.
Have you seen like
The
the
pacing.
rest of the bullshit?
But what I was gonna say is Attack on Titan is a pretty bad example because foreknowledge is not particularly helpful there.
Well,
Yeah.
part of it is that literally everything is based off the fact that there is no lore knowledge there.
What?
Like everything in the
Oh,
story
he
is
means
based
knowledge
off
of the past.
Apparently, catching your breath is the name of a Naruto story that does that.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
But again,
But yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm on the
except
fence
for
about that. It gets just generally self-insert into Attack on Titan in general. I'm pretty on the fence about, because they have like a casualty rate of what, 90% for the main cast.
I mean, you could probably self-insert as an XCOM commander. Also, isn't there literally
We're
a
not
self-insert-
talking about XCOM.
No, as in I was like an XCOM commander type role. I don't fucking know. There's a fucking enough casualty
Just-
rate.
Just
I don't-
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I was literally a second away from doing that myself.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
He can,
How long
it's
until
not
he
like he can't just
notices?
come back in.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Number one, I was.
Oh, okay, what did I come
What
into?
did you expect to happen there?
Fuck you.
Hold on, I feel left out now.
Okay,
gonna
let's
keep
stop.
Okay, we're
I'm gonna
done.
fucking keep doing it, you autistic shit.
Okay, no, we all did it once.
I ain't done shit.
I did it twice.
Oh, okay.
I'm coming to fucking Chicago and beating the shit out of you.
That's fine. I just won't pick you up from the airport. Have fun getting here.
The entire
Remember,
point of
the
Attack
air
on
is
Titan
25%
the game
bullets
is your
by
player
volume.
character is an extra character being inserted into the narrative from the get-go. I mean, look, Attack on Titan is a fun game. Notice I said game, not good plot.
You also said game.
I mean, it's a decent game too.
I'm picking you. I'm picking you again.
Alright. What?
I literally said, it's a fun game. Notice how I said game. And he responds with, did you know you said game? It's like,
Yes,
yes,
I know.
that is what I said.
I'm having connection issues.
Yes, there's mod inflicted.
Mod inflicted. Well, look, part of the problem with Command Style, look, the Attack on Titan makes for a poor self-insert because you're not supposed to save people. In Attack on Titan, part of the story is how many people die fighting them. And the problem with having a self-insert story, knowledge or not, of Attack on Titan, is that if your character starts saving people, that lessens the crux of a decent portion of the story that everyone knows. Obviously, people who've read the manga and whatnot know a lot more
Why
than
is
people.
Tension copy-pasting a fucking dissertation
I don't know.
in the 9K chat?
Obviously, people know who've read the manga know a lot more.
Somewhere else.
But a majority of your audience is going to be the anime watchers, and that's just how it is. And if you just start saving people, it's just going to be a Mary Sue Attack on Titan story because everyone's safe now and everyone's happy. Or they're not safe now and now it's an edgy story that's pointlessly edgy because you saved them and then they died, so you made sure to kill them anyway.
All we're saying is put that in the Fanfiction channel, not the channel where we put stuff when we're streaming.
Or shitpost channel.
Yeah, or shitposting.
Honestly, just put it anywhere.
Or the alternative is that you don't save people, and the entire story is just a canon rail about you trying to change the future and it not working. At which point, why are you writing a story?
Well, I mean, so many fanfictions are about saving characters, so I don't know why anyone's surprised by this.
Well, no, that's my point, though. That's my point, though, is in all of these other stories, saving characters is fine because the point of the story, as far as the anime audience knows, is not about how many people died fighting this enemy. You know, it would be like if it's a Halo story, but the entire premise of Halo is giving you all of these original characters that you grow attached to and then killing them one by one in front of you. And then you go into a Halo fanfiction and it's just the entire premise of the story is you saving everyone from these terrors.
I mean, Halo 3 has a pretty high death count.
Okay, yes, but they don't spend an entire season making you get to know these characters and giving them backstories and then killing them all the next fight.
True.
That's my point, is it doesn't lend itself to derivative in terms of self-insert. In terms of not self-insert, couldn't say. But self-insert definitely limits your choices, definitely limits your creativity. Hello, C8.
Hey, C8.
Also, Orf, I see you're just kind of chilling there. You got anything to say on this before we continue on with more?
No, I popped in and didn't see a good place to say anything, so I was just waiting for your rant to be over. I just got back from work.
That's a dangerous thing to wait for.
That's a dangerous thing to wait for.
No. See, I used to have a rant
no, it's fine.
button, and I had to get rid of the rant button because I just left it on sometimes. Just
it was literally
the entire stream. We just had a giant word rant across it because I was just ranting the whole stream.
I would say, and then to be fair, sometimes I caused it to be there all stream.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. No, I just got back from work, so still trying to relax from that. Oh yeah, for sure. The Florida humidity and sun is so great to work in all day.
Dude, my family was just like, "Hey, let's go to vacation in Florida." And I'm just like, "No." I don't want to go on vacation in Florida in the fucking summer.
In the words of the great Sargon of Akkad, I am living in Satan's butt crack.
I was gonna say, in the words of Teddy Roosevelt, when he found out about businesses taking over, fuck that shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
Funny. Anyway, blah blah blah, words and stuff. Words.
Are we going through Tojo's story right now?
We are still going through Tojo's story.
Oh,
it has taken us an hour, and we're still through Tojo's. Not through it.
No, I'm going to start
20,000 words of blah blah blah.
Yeah, don't worry. It's going to be an accelerationism. Blah blah. She's looking at the baby. Blah blah. She was excited looking at the baby. Not in that way. Blah
I don't
blah.
think anyone
Decent
assumed that.
dialogue.
No one assumed
blah
that,
blah blah blah. Get away from the Jinchuriki. Wait, calm down. Blah blah blah. Murder your firstborn. Blah blah. We'll leave. Just don't hurt her. Blah blah. Thank you for cooperation. So he disappears with the baby. And blah blah. And then Taji is told
There's
to
more
go.
babies in here than there is in fucking Mitch right other end. Jesus Christ.
So Taji is told to go back to the village and get everyone and keep the baby safe at the Senju compound. And then obviously everyone knows that because they heard Taji's thoughts, that she's clearly going to do something that isn't what she was just ordered. And to the shock of everyone, she kidnaps Naruto. And let's see here. You know how long I've been waiting? Blah 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 blah. Cannon fight. Blah 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 blah. Cannon fight. Narrative stuff. Just going on paragraphs of talking about the baby and how it's adorable. Paragraphs talking about.
I was joking about the other M-bit. You don't have to keep repeating the baby.
Paragraphs about how she was prepared to kidnap this baby for the past several months, and how she's actually part of the Cloud Village, and she's been secretly here for decades, waiting to steal a child. Blah blah blah. I have the Earth release, that's why it's so easy for me to escape outside these holes that I've dug that no one's ever found for the past decade.
I see.
Blah blah, cannon fight. Oh, Minato bopped himself on the head because he forgot his gear. It was so silly. Taji is running through.
I'm so dumb.
Fuck was that? Was that Orf?
But what the fuck is that? Oh, that's C8. That's C8. Small child alert.
Small child alert, indeed. She's running through these tunnels, which have been layered in chakra seals, and no one's ever discovered this ever at all, somehow, because reasons, for a decade, with Root.
I was about to say, who would have found this? Danzo. Who would have filled this in and probably had her executed? Danzo.
No, more like, who would have, trapped the end of it? Danzo.
Actually, knowing him, he'd trap it, just be like, cool, I have
He would, dedicate one Root agent to just be there always.
No, not even that. I could see him just going economics, like, oh, cool, I have another tunnel network to use throughout the village. We'll just trap it so non-Root operatives can't use it anymore.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Squatters' rights.
Squatters' rights, I found it.
I found it in his mind, so therefore, fuck you, I'm making eyes out of it.
I would recommend that you not do that, actually.
No.
Oh, too late, it's Danzo time! I don't know where I was going with that.
Would you stop doing that to the poor lad?
No!
Is this just gonna be a fucking me getting kicked for my dumb jokes?
Yes, probably.
Look, I did it twice. I'm not doing it anymore.
At least until I get bored.
Alright, well, I'll wait a few
luckily that'll take about
hours.
10 minutes, since it's not a game that you can play at max levels of autism.
Yeah, more or less. By all that's holy and divine, oh my god, Naruto is so adorable. He's the best. He's amazing. I'm going to adopt him and love him and care for him.
I have so many red flags going off right now.
Apparently this baby is so adorable, he's making ninjas commit treason.
I mean, that's just what ninjas do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
blah
researched
blah.
enough lore to know where this is going.
Everyone's dead. It's now a Haruzen point of view. Congratulations. You actually did switch a point of view, but again, it's sort of awkward because you were sort of doing Omni, and then you sort of switched to certain people's point of views without really any transition, and then suddenly we're doing personal point of views, and we're not Omni anymore. And I don't have a problem with you doing like some sort of over the shoulder perspective from a character, but it's just like you were Omni, and then you were over the shoulder, and then you were back to Omni, and then you were sort of over the shoulder Omni, and then now you're just character perspective. It's just like, pick one. Blah blah, Anbu doing things, your orders, we're gonna go do a cannon fight, guys, you all know how this goes. Donzo time.
Okay, I make the joke and I get kicked. He does.
Literally, it's Donzo time. Indeed we do, Donzo. Indeed we do. And then Donzo shows up and does things. Family issues, forgive me, you're right, my apologies. You got some weird dialogue, but whatever. Fire and brimstone time. Taji could feel what was going on. The baby's crying, and she finds him adorable, and she loves him so much. And she's escaping, and no one was able to stop her because no one noticed the ninja running in the other direction.
Well, I mean, if they're Naruto running, you can't hit them.
Doesn't mean you can't see them. Blah blah, time to go do the cannon fight, guys. Alright, time for cannon fight. Blah 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 blah, cannon fight time. Got some backstory for the Anbu. Blah blah. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, my dude. Like, don't take this the wrong way. You're doing fine-ish. Better than most. I guess that's a compliment on this podcast.
From you? Yeah.
It's definitely a fucking.
That's not a very high bar, though, considering what stuff we usually read.
You're doing above average. Congratulations.
Coming from Sneaky, that's still like not high praise, but it's praise.
It's praise. Again, though, it's okay. So. First chapter length. I'm going to talk about this because, because of how long your story is, and then I'll probably move it, and we're going to move on to other things. Maybe scroll to the end or something. First chapter length is pretty variable, honestly. Got to keep in mind, though, the typical arc/book will be around 70 to 100k words, depending on the setting, the genre, and the type of pacing you're going for, whether it's like, a novelette, a full story, etc., etc. And that also dictates on how much detail you want to put into your descriptions, your character interactions, and backstories of characters. Because, if you're aiming for a 40k story, you don't want to spend 3,000 words in your first chapter describing things that don't mean anything to the story. But, if you're doing...
30K, here's all you need to know. Shit's fucked and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Word count, you dumb shit. Jesus Christ. You don't want to spend too much time, giving detail. But if you're doing, say, a 100k word arc, you do want to go into a decent amount of detail so everyone can understand the characterization that's going on, the backstories the characters are coming from, how they're developing, how the plot's developing. Fit some twists in there. When you're doing things like twists and etc., surprises, there's two ways to do them. You can layer hints in for the previous, lampshade it. A hint here and there, the character going off and doing something away from the party, etc. Or you can just have it be a surprise. And either way, the surprise is lessened if the thing that they're being surprised about hasn't been detailed enough. If your entire description so far of something going on is, we went in there and we shot the guys and then suddenly my friend betrayed us, everyone's gonna be like, okay. But if you go in and you have maybe possibly even a multi-chapter detailing of the events going on, maybe one chapter towards the beginning of the assault, one chapter towards, they reach the end of the assault, and then one chapter for the post-climax of the assault, where the friend reveals that he's going to betray them, and, because now people are interested in what's going on, now they have dedicated their time to it, and now they care about the betrayal. Why is this important? Attention span. You only have so much time to describe elements of what's going on, what's happening, how is it going down, and etc. If you don't have chapter breaks, people are going to lose interest. Unless they are specifically, how best to put it? Unless they are interested specifically in a certain event or character or plot idea, their attention span is going to be finite. An extremely long chapter is great and all, unless you're trying to get people to pay attention to it in the first place. I know some people, like Vine's enthusiasts, who do write 40k word chapters, but they also write these 40k word chapters in the middle of their story that they're posting, where you're already invested in reading the story, and not as, say, your hook for getting people to read the story. And actually, I had read a decent chunk of this story on my own because I was interested in it, but I just lost interest because it was just going on and on and on, and it kept switching viewpoints. And she's over here doing this, back to this fight, back to her saying one thing, back to the fight, back to her saying another thing somewhere else, back to the fight, back to her lying to someone, back to the fight, back to her, and it's just war on me. I lost interest.
I'd also argue said chapters have their place sometimes, but just like they have to be coherent, I guess. And then it just goes quiet.
No, I was just reading the chat and ignoring you.
I figured. I mean, also... never mind.
Saying? No, you were saying.
No, I was going to make another point, but just like, if you've already got, like, a large... Like, I'd say 40k word chapters seems like a lot, honestly, and unless you're, like, having some huge event where you can't have a break... No, if you are having an event that you literally cannot break in the middle of...
No,
then...
but that's still a bit much. But at the same time...
Well, I mean, if you have
how
like a fucking war in your
how
setting,
Vimes writes his chapters is it doesn't feel like it's the length that it is. You'll get to the end of the chapter and be like, wait, what? That's all? I thought this was longer. And he's not the best author, don't get me wrong. He's not like some sort of, Brandon Sanderson meets Tolkien and they had some sort of Einstein baby of writing. He's not fantastic. I give him like an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. He's pretty good. He's not the best. He makes mistakes, and sometimes his plot's a little bit silly and contrived. But, he outputs quite a bit of words. He basically writes a book every single month. And so, I give him a break.
I mean, not every single fucking word you put on a page is going to be, like, amazing. Especially if you're writing a book every goddamn month.
Yeah, no, I give him some leeway, and I'm invested in the ideas that he has, and so, like, this is what I'm talking about, though. Because I was invested in the ideas that Vimes had put forth, I was willing to endure the word count per chapter update, because I wanted to read his story. But if you're just sitting there, you're average Joe, you're looking for a new Naruto fanfiction, you played Sekirai recently, and you're like, hey, it's Naruto Sekirai crossover, I could read this, and you get in here, and you're like, okay, it's the birth scene, and this weird person is here, and she's stealing Naruto, and then there's the canon fight, but it keeps swapping from the canon fight's pacing and suddenly into this, like, slice of life kidnapping story. And then it's back to the shonen action fight, and then back to the slice of life kidnapping, and then back to the shonen action fight, and then back to the slice of life kidnapping, and then back to the shonen action fight. And it's like, at what point is this Sekirai,
The point when the clothes come off. That's when.
And that actually is coming up, though. So I'll scroll down to that, and
oh boy, here we go.
So blah blah. I can hear someone coming. She blah blah. She. Oh yeah. So Sarutobi summons some more monkeys. But they're aggressive and they hate Sarutobi and they threaten to kill him. And then Enma shows up and says, "Hey, put your shit together. Go fight the giant demon fox." It is interesting backstory. It's interesting world building, but that's not what we're invested in here. You have hooked us. That your hook was this lady stealing Naruto. But you're slacking the line constantly with going back to this shonen action fight and doing lots of world building and backstorying in this shonen action fight. It would be less jarring, I guess you could say, if the scenes weren't so short in between the swapping. And I sort of kind of understand where you were coming from with, like, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. I sort of understand that. You were trying to show time passing, different events occurring as the fight's going on. I get that. But you're losing me. That hook that was in is getting loose. Because I was invested in the kidnapping, but then you're trying to, info dump on me about the Naruto world.
I was invested in the kidnapping, and now you're giving me an info dump.
Somebody clip that.
That's a clip moment.
Go ahead.
I hope both those moments are clipped.
I wanted it to be
clean cuts from each of you.
I knew we needed a clean cut.
We already had one with Sneaky, and then you made one for yourself. It's great.
I wasn't listening.
I try.
And it's not bad. Neither of them are bad, and I think that's the worst part about it. Is that neither of these series of scenes are particularly bad, but the way you presented them is.
The presentation is bad.
It's like
he tried to put two different stories together.
Yes.
Like,
it's
honestly,
like
you
that.
could probably just start off with the info dump if you really want the info dump, and then go to the kidnapping. But at that point, you might as well just make the info dump like a fucking...
Well, actually, I'm going to use food in this instance because I'm kind of hungry. But the best way to describe it, right? It's like you gave us cotton candy. And we were like, oh, neat, cotton candy. And we started eating the cotton candy. And then you also come out and you're like, here's your filet mignon steak, medium rare, with a, beef glaze. And it's like, what? Why did you give me cotton candy then?
Like, why not just give me the filet mignon?
I can offer a little insight into why it's structured the way it is.
Okay.
Okay, shoot.
Yeah.
This story is literally it's a fic that's like, it's an inspired by fic by one of my stories that I started and didn't really continue.
Okay, but you're garbage.
Wow. Thank you, Sneaky. Thank you. No.
At least you're not totally garbage.
It was... I did a story that was because I had an OC that I'd been meaning to use for a long time, and I never got around to it. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to write a Kumo kidnaps Naruto story. Just something that I can do to like introduce it, get a better handle on this OC and her personality and her family. And then Tojo really liked it. Like, he really was interested in the character and in the scenario. And he also was super obsessed with Sekiro. So he was like, do you mind if I write a story kind of like based on this and like add in my own stuff? I'm like, fuck it, whatever.
Hey, you know what, Orf? I got something to cheer you up. You get to hold this over Lupine Horror's head.
What's that?
Oh, God.
Because you see, both of you are very popular fandom writers.
Mm-hmm.
However, all of Lupine Horror's this fic was inspired by stories are garbage. He has come on willingly to the podcast to apologize for how bad they were.
Yeah.
Right,
congratulations, you are better than Lupine Horror.
So, as I said before, was there ever any doubt?
You would be tooting your own horn too hard there, but dude.
Oh, I'm not. It's just I'm American.
Well, yeah,
he's American, therefore he's allowed to be a little bit.
He did have the bigger word count.
No, I'm saying I'm American and he's British, therefore I'm better.
I mean, yes, but he did have the bigger word count, just like how Britain had the larger empire.
Well, also because they have no personality.
Well, neither did Harry.
Yeah.
Woo! Alright, so let's get to the part where it crosses over into Sekiro, and then we can GTFO and get right on back to the Halo Suba fic.
Do we have to get back to that fic, please? Can we just not?
No.
At this point, we might as well just save it for Tuesday.
We have to.
It's only 8:19. The Halo Suba fic is super short.
You act like
let's see. Scrolly.
You act like we save anything for Tuesday.
Scrolly.
We do. Tuesday's literally a day of like, oh, this one didn't kill our souls. Let's look at chapter 2. Or, oh, hey, we'll save this one for Tuesday. We do it all the time.
Blah 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 blah. Okay, so she meets a band of soldiers that are just chilling out here, and they're like, "Hey, woman, who are you?" And she's like, "Lies and stuff." And
is this where we get the I am no man of daughter born, I am a woman copy pasta?
No. Okay, she's like, this is my niece or whatever, and we were running from bandits or something, and the soldier's like, oh, that sounds really bad, we'll take you back to the castle. And she's like, okay, I'll go with you. And then the commander does the big reveal, then we ride for Ashina Castle. Yeah, that's right, guys. Sekiro is just randomly right in the middle of the elemental countries.
I see.
Yep. And nobody else has ever noticed this entire country before. This country has never been taken over or wiped out.
Or this country that no one's ever spied on, despite being in a world literally made of spies.
And
there are more spies in the
despite
Naruto
the
world
fact
than
that
there are...
several clans worth of people are literally immortal, it totally just no one ever investigated it. And this is actually the part where I dropped the story because of how he did it. Fusion worlds are trash. But let me just get that straight. Fusion worlds are almost, without fail, trash. Specifically, usually because it's the world part that makes it trash. When you try to take two planets and fuse them together and somehow try and overlap their history. Sometimes it works out fine, like Sailor Moon and Harry Potter and Ranma.
Well, those kind of work together, if only because of the magic. But I don't want to see the execution of it.
No. Actually, I heartily recommend Violence Inherent to the System. It's a Ranma Harry Potter Sailor Moon crossover. Absolutely hilarious.
Because now I want to know how the fuck Ranma works there.
It is something.
All right, who else falls into the girl spring?
No.
Harry?
No, just Ranma.
That is a missed opportunity.
No, absolutely read it. It's a two-parter series. It's been completed for years. It is fantastic. But you have to know Ranma, you have to know Harry Potter, and you have to know at least some Sailor Moon to understand what's going on.
I'm sorry, what did I miss?
There's apparently a good Ranma crossover.
It's a multi-cross of it's a world fusion multi-cross of Ranma, Sailor Moon, and Harry Potter.
Although I always think that Ranma never makes for a good crossover because Ranma does not do serious stories. Period. The end. They don't do. That's universe does not know.
No, you can, especially with the ending of Ranma, you can certainly make a serious story, and it obviously requires the end part of Ranma to make it a serious story, or if you do some good wordplay and get some good phrasing and show some decent character development, you can also make it a serious story. Again, I have seen plenty of good Ranma stories, and especially good Ranma Sailor Moon stories.
You know what? I rescind my statement because I remembered that Bobobo exists.
It takes effort.
What does Bobobo have to do with anything?
Well, that's also incredibly stupid, but somehow they made something serious at the end.
That's true.
Granted, said seriousness isn't exactly super quality, but it's there.
Violence Inherent in the System and The Girl Who Loved. Yeah, but you're more likely to find the story by doing Violence Inherent in the System than typing The Girl Who Loved. It's not the same guy who did the Little Vila That Could, which is also a great story. Purely Harry Potter. But world fusions, almost 99 out of 100 times, are going to be absolute garbage because you're trying to fuse two worlds with completely separate histories into the same world. And what you either end up with is some completely illogical nonsense that doesn't fucking work, like Harry Potter and Fate verse. Or you end up with just an XP, which is, you take characters from one world and they're just in this other world. And they sort of have the same reason. And they sort of have the same backstories and the same history, but it's not really those characters and it's not really a crossover because you had to remove some parts of the crossover so you could do a world fusion. And it's like, okay, well, that's just a character, what's a good example here? Right, that Ruby Dark Souls story, where he just took the 4 knights and just put them into Ruby as preteens, and made them Faunus, and all on the same team randomly, even though they're from different countries before they ever got the beacon. And also Arcurius knows everyone that's important, because he was also the self-insert XP. But,
yes.
It's just like, well, they aren't the 4 knights, though, They weren't, they didn't battle dragons that were immortal, they didn't get taught by possibly Hobble or whoever, and they didn't serve under Gwyn, They're just people who look like the 4 knights with the names of the 4 knights and the weapons of the 4 knights. It's like, That's not really a fusion anymore. That's not really a crossover anymore. That's just laziness. And that's my problem here. Sekiro works fine on its own. If you want to have Naruto wash up on the shore or something, he gets fighting Kagura and he gets punted through a portal and he blacks out and then he wakes up washing up onto one of the rocks nearby the cliff. And he has to figure out Sekiro from there. He takes the place of the ninja. The ninja's dying or some shit, and you're like, you must go find my master or some shit like that. It's like, okay. I could buy that. That could be a little bit of a curb stompy, interesting fic where Naruto's got to, fight swords masters with
I don't know. I feel like Butterfly
jutsu.
would fuck him up at least once.
Possible. But still, even then, that would make more sense than what's going on here. It's just randomly the Ashina exists. Does the rest of Sekiro exist? Do I know? No. Do I care either? Not really. Just knowing for the fact that the Ashina exists in the Narutoverse kind of makes me not want to read further. Because how are you going to explain the rest of Sekiro? The answer is you can't. It doesn't gel with the Narutoverse unless you try to really, really, really fuck up the Narutoverse lore to fit Sekiro into it. At which point, just write your own stuff.
Yeah. No, if this was like something a bit more in line with your idea, probably been like Naruto or Sasuke thrown into the world of Sekiro because Kaguya's a bitch and got smart.
Or,
actually, it probably would have to be Naruto since Sasuke can just move between dimensions.
Yeah.
Yo, let me just dimension hop.
Yep, more or less. And, it's... I mean... It would also, I would say, be at minimum an interesting idea. I don't know how well the execution would work out for it, but it would be a interesting in terms of audience amusement level. Be an interesting idea to have. The ending of Sekiro happens. It's one of the ones where you sacrifice yourself to end the cycle, and Sekiro gets isekai'd into the Narutoverse, and he's like, the classic ninja and master of sword and pretty good at sneaking around and shit. And then everyone's like, ninja, ninja, ninja. He's like, oh, there's ninjas here too. And then they're like, fireball jutsu. He's like, what the fuck? That would be funny. But how would it...
What jutsu do you have? I have an umbrella.
What?
I have this cool arm.
Well,
which, to be fair, it's a very cool arm.
It is a very cool arm, but still, like, I don't know how well the execution, like, maybe a one shot at best, maybe, but it would be more interesting than this. And honestly, it's one of the saddest parts about all this is it's good writing, It's good writing. It's just the pacing was off, and the plot was bad. And as
I mean, now the author knows because this is basically
he's
another.
Not here anymore, but as I told a person, Moth specifically yesterday, actually, in another Discord, as they were trying to promote this really shit fan fiction. They're like, oh, the characters are pretty good and stuff. I'm like, you see, the characters can be good all you want. If the plot is shit, it's shit. I'm not gonna read a story for the characters. If the whole plot is shit, like, if the plot is passable at best and the characters can shore it up, sure. But if the whole plot's just like a fucking, you ate 29 prunes in one sitting, I'm not gonna read that.
That sounds painfully short-sighted.
Anyway.
I'm not sure you can have good plot, or rather, bad plot with good characters.
Oh no, you can.
No, you
Well,
can't.
no, because my particular philosophy on writing is that there is no plot. There is only character interaction.
Well,
No.
Atin,
The-
Atin knows
so-
what I'm talking about here. The Drizzt Roerden series was.
We don't talk about Drizzt here.
But they talk about it all like at least once every 2 months.
Oh, I mean, I know they do, but I'm just trying to dissuade them from doing so.
No, is Atin gone? Did we lose Atin?
I'm still here. I just
Oh,
have
he's
nothing
still
to
here.
add there.
He's
You are
just-
correct, sir.
You can most definitely have really bad plot. Oh god, that series should have died a long time ago.
Probably. I think it has like 30 books.
Oh, it's got like 42.
Oh, did they increase? Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those series that every time you check on how many books it has, if there's like more, you're just like,
The thing is, I found out about
why there's more Drizzt stories? It's because D&D players are a bunch of fucking antisocial idiots.
No, I found out about the Legend of Drizzt the same time I found out about the Wheel of Time because my uncle was like into fantasy. He was like
Okay.
he recommended both of them to me, and then it's like I read both of them at the same time, and then I dropped off Drizzt after like the fourth.
Well,
book.
I've been recommended Wheel of Time by like 5 different people, so I might actually check it out.
I needed a door stop.
good.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Starts off garbage.
Oh, it starts off so slow, but just if you push past the first book.
Also,
well, I've also been told about it mostly because I asked for writing advice and someone told me to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's a great way to look at how a writer evolves over the course of a fucking 13-book series.
14.
There's
Well,
14?
the 14th book doesn't count.
Oh, what happened with
No,
the 14th book?
It does count though. The last Robert Jordan died after he published book 12, and then Brandon Sanderson wrote what was supposed to be book 13, but it had to be split into 3 different books because it was so long.
Yes.
And Sanderson did a really good job of matching up with Jordan's style as well. You couldn't even tell. But that's probably more just because Sanderson is that good of a writer.
And it's where he got his start. But here's the thing. Like I said, the last 3 books don't count because even though he was putting information that Sanderson gave him on the paper, he was still the one writing it.
Yeah,
Talking purely about Jordan's evolution as a writer, you stop there.
Yeah.
Because he died.
Yeah.
Wait, Jordan or Sanderson?
Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan
I
Sanderson.
was about to say, I just saw an interview with Sanderson. Is
Yeah,
it
no,
like recent news?
Sanderson is very much alive.
It's like the fucking what's a cursed roll?
What?
Like what's a cursed role in movies and TV? I was trying to like give an example. Like the writers of the Wheel of Time are always cursed to die or something like that.
Oh.
No.
Well, no, I know, but
it's definitely not that.
I think he was trying to make a bad joke again. Someone should probably kick him.
I wasn't trying to make a joke. I was just giving an example. Fuck off.
He's gonna have some major trust issues after the end of this
tonight's episode. I already have trust issues. I have trust issues because of my fucking family.
Trust
I don't
on
need any
Sneaky's
fucking more.
You guys done? Can we move on to the Connoisseur? Finish up our night?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Alright, so so for some reason a Spartan accepts to the mission to save humanity again for, some wild, crazy, fantastical reason that, completely nonsensical that a Spartan would ever try to save humanity. But not before taking her.
Hold on a second. Noble Six wasn't actually the one who wanted. Noble Six is probably the most edgy of the Spartans, actually, now that I think about it.
No. The only Spartans that would have been not down for that offer would have been the ones who'd already left the Spartan program.
6 was literally called the Grim Reaper of the Spartans.
Okay, yeah.
That doesn't
that
mean he's
has
not.
nothing to do with saving humanity.
Yeah.
I meant in terms of edginess.
He's edgy.
Okay, so he's edgy.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean. So he's an edgy boy. What does that have to do with? Oh, I'm dead. Hello, I am God. Oh, okay, that's a bit weird. You're a lolly, but whatever. Hi, God. Yes, I am God, and I will give you the option to come back to life with the stipulation.
Look, given the amount of fucking dumbass edge we've seen in this fucking show, you can't fault me for seeing.
With the stipulation that you will go to a different universe with a demon king trying to wipe out humanity. Okay. All right.
Okay, so why would Noble 6 wish for Aqua to come with him? Why not just wish for a fucking scorpion tank or a pelican?
Oh, because you didn't let me finish.
Okay, understandable.
The man accepts it, but not before taking her with him, for she had mocked his dead teammates. God's blessing on
Aqua,
this.
you stupid fucking idiot. You don't fucking
Why would she do that?
Why would you mock George? George is literally best boy.
I mean, here's the thing. Look.
You can mock Cat all you want.
You can mock Cat. You might be able to mock Carter.
Mock June a little bit because he technically ran away. What
no,
happened?
June
what
doesn't die.
June
Lives and gets Halsey off Reach.
Is that in 5? Because I didn't play 5.
No, that was canonized by the books.
Mm-hmm.
Which book?
Reach.
So they did some very sneaky retcons in the reprints of Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
They don't name June, but one of the Spartans who comes with her off of Reach, it has his number.
Ah. Yeah. Well, I don't have a new version of Fall of Reach because I only have my old one.
The real ones?
Yes. I would just say Fall of Reach had very little changed about it, but yes, that was one of the things they snuck in there as a retcon.
Yeah,
well, maybe I'll go read Fall of Reach again. I don't know.
But anyway, point being is that all of Noble Team they died actually making, a difference.
Also, just to point in order, he does also show up on in Halo 5, so he has to make it there.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't play 5.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so it's not like a situation with Cosmo. Like I don't really understand why she's mocking him. I guess we'll see in the story the shit reasoning, but it's like it's one thing to make fun of a guy for dying because he pissed himself because he thought he was going to get hit by a car. It's like,
it's another thing to mock someone who literally fought off, canonically, 100 elites or some bullshit.
Yeah, literally the last stand was a commitment of a platoon. And it's just like, okay, what part of that's mockable?
And here's the thing, right? Sure, you could get away with mocking Kat for not turning her shields on.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Why didn't she turn her shields on? Was it the radiation or something?
No one knows. Because lore and because reasons and stuff.
That's that's the dumbest death in Reach. I don't understand why that's a death.
It is. But it's still there.
It doesn't matter because Kat's a fucking jobber anyway.
That's just
Yo, hey 6, you got in the gunner seat by accident? Here, let me just drive us off a cliff.
I'm pretty sure Aqua mentions that she's specifically in charge of Japanese people that died.
Likely.
So why is her authority suddenly extended to a completely different planet?
Because this guy is a Japanese descent. I don't know. Look,
here's the thing, right?
Okay, I'll give the author
I could understand if they were
if it's I'm filling in for a subordinate.
Or even if they were just hey, listen, so the whole taking care of a specific group of people with all the people getting murdered right now, we're way too swamped for that.
Yeah, look, there's a lot
So they just come to us in alphabetical order.
Look, as awesome as the reasoning is, I'm sure we're all coming up with as to why and how this exact scenario took place. We all know the author's not going to do any of that. We all know.
It's more we at least want something explaining it.
Now that there's more Konosuba appearing, parentheses, fuck yes, I'm going to make my own story based on it all, with a twist, a noble twist.
What a twist!
Unknown location. The Spartan had seen death with his own 2 eyes. Left on reach to die by the hands. No, he was not left on reach. He stayed. Purposely.
He was not left. He
explicitly stayed.
He literally told Keys, I gotta stay on the gun, because otherwise the whole fucking ship's gonna die. Because Emil fucking jobbed to an elite.
No.
Well, not jobbed, but he just got fucking
I was gonna say, hold on a minute. He killed three, ganked. And that was after getting stabbed in the shoulder.
Yes.
Wait, he killed 3 of them?
Yeah.
I thought he got stabbed in the gut and then died.
Well, okay, no, seriously, I'm gonna echo what Max said earlier. What series of Halo games did you play? Because clearly they are not the same ones.
It has been a while since I played Reach, okay?
And you don't remember it?
It's been a while since I played Reach 2. I can still remember the important character death cutscenes.
Man, I can still remember that one level with the freaking
and just fucking diving at the elite.
No, he gets stabbed in the chest.
Yes.
He shotguns one in the face. Gets stabbed in the chest by the next one.
Yes,
rams his knife into that one, and then there's another one climbing up the side of the gun. And because he's just been stabbed in the heart, he decides to spend his last seconds ramming a knife in Elite's split jaw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have any other choices. Because he's been stabbed in the heart.
And also he's Emil and just fucking says, fuck you, I'm killing you all anyway.
Yeah, my point is, there's nothing Emil could have done, and he certainly didn't job. The reason the elite even got up to him in the first place was because he was manning the gun.
Yes.
But anyway, so left onto Reach to die to the elites. Absolute bullshit. What?
This is heresy.
What? Okay, author. What game did you play? Because it's clearly a different copy. It's the same copy that Nosehair played. Because it's clearly not the one we all got.
Yeah, so I just looked at the extra mission thing. By the way, depending on how good you are at that game, you can significantly increase his elite death count there.
Yeah.
Cutscene, he kills 4. He kills 4 of them before they finally get him on the ground and start trying to beat his ass with spare blades.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't think he killed 3 elites, because I remember there being 3 elites when you go up to take over the
I literally just watched him kill 4 elites in the last cutscene before he died.
Emil's death. I remember distinctly that you have to fight 3 elites to get up to the fucking gun. Or maybe that's only a legendary.
Nexus Rider says, to be fair, taking away the comedy from Konosuba, and you basically have a homebrew generic fantasy setting with a Konosuba flavoring, and you have what setting clues you can get from the source.
Well, I mean, Konosuba is literally just fucking generic anime.
Take away the comedy from Konosuba. First off, what comedy? Second off, you're implying the author's capable of writing comedy. Which they aren't, as we can all tell by their first 2 lines of this fic, in which they get the age of the Spartan wrong, they get the reasoning the Spartan is on Reach wrong, and they get his opinion on the scenario wrong. Like, oh, they left me on Reach, what bullshit. You literally said, leave me here, I will hold them off. Why would you be complaining that they left you there?
Because the author is an idiot?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad we've established that.
He'd seen the aliens coming. He should have been able to take them on. It doesn't matter how wounded he was.
Okay, well then this is just a different copy of Reach altogether.
God, this is so edgy. This is literally playground edgy, where someone goes like, pew pew, I shoot you with my laser, and you go, nope, surprise, I'm actually immune to lasers. That is this in written format.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh yeah, that kid that went on to go write for fucking
Polygon?
Games Workshop. I was gonna say Games Workshop.
That too.
Oh,
because
that's right. I forgot.
Ultramarines are literally that kid.
So the reason Kat died was because she took her helmet off. And remember, in every Halo game, when your armor first gets put on, your shields have to charge back up.
Right.
Now, because I think Carter...
Well, why'd she take her...
Well, remember, they were down deep in a bunker during a glassing. And they were supposedly down there for quite some time, so I could understand, taking the helmet off. Because maybe...
Well, I know that she took her helmet. She took her helmet off to, hack the thing. But I thought she had her helmet on in the elevator.
No, the elevator doors open and she puts it on. I think. Hold on, I'm gonna go rewatch her death scene.
Go watch the cutscene.
I'll keep complaining about this.
Yeah.
Fuck it for now. He's had to deal with worse, like seeing darkness. God, it's so edgy. This is why I think it's an XP of the author, because the author says the character is 17 years old, and this sounds exactly
it's
like...
It's obviously a fucking XP.
This sounds like an edgy 17-year-old.
This is literally a 17-year-old's, wet dream to be a
Ellipses. He could still see his goddamn heads-up display in his eyes. Shields were online.
Where's the goddamn fourth Chaos Emerald?
I will give a point of order. Kat's not the only one with her helmet off. June also has his helmet off in this scene.
Fair enough. Wait, he dropped his helmet when he got fracking killed. Do they use frack in Halo?
Did he seriously just fucking use fracking?
I think
yes. By the way, Carter does have his helmet off too, so all three of them do.
Yeah, only Emil and
Noble.
Six don't.
Yeah. Jesus, this is so cringy. Oh my god.
It's like if someone tried to... It's like if someone made all of my edgy Kingdom Hearts 2 fanfictions from when I was fucking 12.
On the chair was a young woman at a table. She had blah blah blah, it's Aqua. You've awoken, welcome to the afterlife. This was a bullshit joke. He couldn't have actually died to those elites, right?
What?
George clearly drugged his food.
Okay, so they're going down to the bunker. They all have their helmets on.
Now.
Wait, who drugged his food?
George, yeah.
Apparently.
Because George just drugs people's food as a prank.
Yeah,
you have not only insulted the Reach series as a whole, you have insulted George. Therefore, you shall be sentenced to fuck you dimension.
Yeah, wow, this is far more ridiculous than I thought.
Oh, God.
I hate it. I congratulations.
I'm talking about Kat's death. So the bunkers, the place is getting glassed. She gets in the elevator, puts her helmet on. They go down the elevator for a few seconds, go out into a hallway, and she gets domed. So her shielding would have
She gets domed by a fucking needle rifle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Because they made it a needle rifle, and because she was in the elevator for so long, her shielding would have had time to come up. And even on Legendary, it still takes 2 needle rifles to get you.
Yeah, I think it takes at least 3 or 4, doesn't it?
No, I'm talking about the AI on Legendary.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're telling me is they conveniently forgot their own rules set forth in gameplay.
Just to kill a character, yes.
They did, and here's the thing. They could have made it perfectly acceptable by just making it a Jackal Sniper.
Yeah.
And everybody would have gone, bad luck.
Wait,
Yeah.
was it not a jackal sniper?
Nope.
No,
it was an elite with a needle rifle.
Bob elite, actually.
That's why everybody went. No, I think it was
No, it's a Bob elite.
It was a Bob.
Oh well, yeah, it's a Bob, which that's part of it. But it's just one of those things where everybody went, why did she just job?
Yeah.
There was no reason for that.
Anyway, so he gulps randomly and asks, "You are?" Quick and concise like a badass. The woman smiled and nodded and said, "I am the goddess of water, Aqua, which deals with guiding young deaths such as yourself in the path of good life. You've lived through a war and your sacrifice wasn't in vain. Your kid are on the brink of winning the war, but your fight's over, young Spartan." Okay. That's a surprisingly good sentence from Aqua's mouth.
So how do we go from here
to copying Konosuba? Yeah. Oni taught him, don't trust this woman. So he didn't.
Okay, first of all, just the random expletives.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Literally no Spartan ever. First of all,
well, not only that, it's just that this is 17-year-old who thinks writing curse words into the narrative makes it cooler.
Like I would just say, first of all, let's be clear. As ridiculous as the Devil May Cry series is, they had a good point when they went, Dante doesn't have to swear to be cool.
No, he just needs to fucking eat pizza and shoot pool balls.
I'm not saying Dante isn't ridiculous.
Oh, no one ever said he wasn't ridiculous. It's literally the most ridiculous bullshit that you can ever see.
But that being said, they do a perfectly fine job of making him cool and edgy without being an edge lord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same reason why whenever I'm like overreacting to something on the podcast is that I use curse. It's because it's an expletive. If it's supposed to, go with it.
Yeah.
It's not a, you don't just use it every other.
There are times where a cuss word can get across your point better than anything else. Narrative is not one of those times unless it's like first person from a character who's known to be like mouthy. Like if Noble 6 were a drill sergeant and this was first person, I could see that.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are plenty of characters in Halo who swear.
Yeah, it's just
so I could see Sergeant Johnson doing that from a first person.
I was gonna say Sergeant. Wow.
You know what we all need?
Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Mendoza.
Sergeant Johnson has a fucking mouth of a sailor.
You know what we all really need?
Especially all the
we
legendary
need some
speeches.
Halo crossover with Isekai Johnson.
You know what? Here's what I would totally
Johnson,
read.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
So here's the thing: best Isekai for Johnson. Personally, I'm thinking the Saga of Tanya the Evil.
What is he on? The German side or the non-German side?
Greetings, I am God. You excuse fucking what?
Okay.
He can't even transform.
No, the best part is
he can't even transform Johnson. He just ends up in his normal form anyway.
No, my favorite part. Whatever deity incarnates him to another world just goes, listen, man, you're so entertaining. You're not done.
Isekai Johnson is.
You know what? You get to have fun in another world. Sorry.
Oh my god, do you know what the best part is? You can make an entire every one of the fanfictions, you can just label it Isekai Johnson and blank.
Isekai
Stop
Johnson.
giving me more ideas. I'm already trying to finish one idea.
Isekai Johnson and the Familiar of Zero.
Oh.
He stuns all the nobles into submission by cursing at them.
Yeah, that would. That would be
okay, but hold on. What magic power would Johnson get?
The same thing.
Does he need one?
That depends on the isekai.
Does Johnson actually need a magic power?
Would Johnson even agree to it?
I
don't need no fancy powers. I got 2 powers for you right here.
Why is he Mr. T now?
No, have you not listened to his legendary speeches?
Johnson.
I've listened to Johnson. It's the way he was saying the words.
Oh, okay.
He was saying it with the Mr. T accent. I'm just like, why is Johnson now Mr. T?
Okay, that's fine. I was gonna say
Mr. T there. Sorry.
I was gonna say the lines themselves were pretty much Johnson.
Actually, Johnson goes into Konosuba. I could see his one, like, you can bring any one thing with you. Cool, I want the chief.
Thinks about it.
I don't know if we can do that.
No, Max, even better. He thinks about it, he's thinking about it. Hurry up and pick something. Oh, I know what the lady's like. Fucking snaps over to Konosuba, fucking scorpion tank, just pile drives.
If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go listen to Two Sticks and a Rock now.
Kazuma just like sees a scorpion tank out of nowhere, just like, the fuck? Why is there a tank?
By the way, cue the tank song too.
Oh god, yeah, that was such a.
Now I'm imagining Sergeant Johnson just taking one look at fucking Kazuma and just going like, "Nuh-uh, you're training. We're doing a few laps." It's like becoming his actual sergeant. Bullshit like that.
Starts daily PT.
Daily PT for Kazuma and friends. Aqua notices that Kazuma and friends are getting too relaxed in their mansion. Kazuma's gaining weight and everything, so she's just like, "I'm calling in a favor. I'm calling in the best sergeant the universe has ever seen." Johnson just appears. Oh god, not you.
I mean, personally, I would say the sergeant who trained and wrangled all of the Spartans is better.
Well, yes, but it's also Sergeant Johnson.
By the way, for anyone who has somehow not heard Two Sticks and a Rock, it's in memes and shitposts.
Excellent.
It's amazing. Go watch it.
Anyway, enough fantasizing about infinitely superior ideas for fanfiction.
Yes. Nexus is correct. Darkness would enjoy that.
Yes. Oh, I know what the ladies like.
I know what the ladies like. Laps! More laps!
Oh, God. Johnson. Such a fucking character.
I've only played the first and second Halo games. Johnson continues to be one of the most memorable parts of those games.
Forever. No, honestly,
ending of one is great.
I last night, surprisingly, somewhat relevant. Somebody posted. I think it was Elaine, or Tired Birdo. I think he goes by the server. He on a different server, he posted the Halo Anniversary Edition commercial, where they did the whole, like, fake veterans memorial thing.
Yeah.
And that just made me flash back to all those Halo 3 commercials, the I Believe series.
Those were fucking amazing, dude.
And I was just like, oh.
I still think the best was the one with the action figures, just because it was so seamless.
Well, that was the Believe series.
I think he's talking about the specific commercial.
Yeah. That was the start of the Believe series, and the rest of the Believe series is having different fake veterans come in and talk about the memorial, which is the first commercial.
But the first commercial was the best one of those. I think,
also,
honestly.
side note, Forward Unto Dawn was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Hey, it's
honestly, say what you will about the Halo team.
Old Halo. Oh.
No, I mean, look, here's the thing. Even up to 4, it's pretty good.
I had a lot of problems with 4.
Debatable. 4 had way too many problems, I think.
There was so many moments in 4 where I was just like, wait, what?
Just like, why is this a thing?
Look, I'll say 4's biggest failing was expecting people to read a book.
Yes. 100, yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you read the books they put out, and I'm not saying this is acceptable narratively, it's not in the slightest. But that being said, if you'd read the books, everything made sense. You were like, I know why this is happening. I know who this is. I know what's going on here.
Yeah, no, I get you. But
still
it's
a tall order.
It's such a weak idea to use the book, especially when you're transferring studios.
Yes.
Such a weak idea.
Zero argument there.
Yeah.
This is also the demographic that was also probably not really into reading too many science fiction
hey guys,
books.
let's go write a series based off of a set of books for the action first-person shooter couch bros.
Okay, no, hold on. Hold on.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people reading it.
No, Sneaky. The Halo books up until that point had done exceptionally well.
Yeah, I know.
They had every reason to believe people would read the book.
Except for the part where they were transferring out of Bungie and a lot of people were Bungie fans.
But that has nothing to do with it. But from a publishing a book perspective, they would have looked at previous book sales and previous engagement. Because remember, at that time, with Halo 3 done, people were super into the Halo universe because there was, what, a 3-4 year gap?
Yeah.
And as far as Bungie was concerned, they were like, and then later 343, it was exactly like what happened with Star Wars. It ended, but people wanted more. So they went to books and they went to web series. You know, that's part of the reason that Red vs.
Part of the reason why we got ODST.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, and ODST. But the
it's
point
also
is,
9 o'clock, so we should wrap this up.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Don't worry.
The point is, they had every reason to believe that fans would be incredibly actively engaged, especially since the books were doing so well. Because remember, they did a reprint. They didn't change anything, but they did do the reprint of all the original books. Plus, they put out that short story collection.
Yeah. That's true. And so then,
again, I don't say that it wasn't a bad idea. It was a dumb idea, but they had every reason to believe their dumb idea wasn't as dumb as it was.
Yeah, but it's still kind of dumb though, because the books aren't telling a story in between the games in terms of absolutely necessary information. They are telling a story in between the games, and they're telling a story before the games.
No, hold on. I would argue that the one where they go from Halo 1 to the Hierophant to Earth is pretty freaking necessary. Because otherwise, Halo 1 ends with the Chief stuck in a non-slipspace equipped ship.
Okay, yes.
Halo 2 just begins.
Didn't the Pelican have one?
No. Also, he wasn't in a Pelican, he was in a longsword.
Oh, right, he wasn't a longsword, right.
I would say, and Pelicans don't get slipspace drives until after the nonsense that Halsey pulls, and even then it still takes years to get them to the point where they can do it on their own.
Right. But anyway, no, because even then, like, the thing though is that back then, Halo 1 wasn't a smash hit. Halo 2 was the smash hit that got everyone to play Halo 1 again. Yes, there was a cult following to Halo 1. Do not mistake what I'm saying. There was a following, but it wasn't the words on everyone's lips in the peer group, you know?
Yeah.
Halo 2 was. Halo 3
But
was.
what does that have to do with not getting an explanation? Nothing.
Because our age group didn't care. They saw Halo 2, they bought it, they liked it, they went back and played Halo 1. They didn't care about the in-between between Halo 1 and 2. Our age group continued to grow up. We went directly from Halo 2's events right into the Halo 3. Like,
yes.
No transition there at all. Just boom. Didn't need a book for that.
Well, I was going to say, that's part of why Finish the Fight was so successful.
Yes. Boom. Halo 3 ends. Our age group continues to age. Duh. We still want more. We turn to the book series. we turn to.
I would say, remember, those
ODST,
books were written
Reach.
well before that, but
yes.
continue.
Well, yes, but even then, a majority of the people I was talking to didn't read the books before they played the game. Like, them buying the books was a reason why, like, they bought the books because they played the game, not the other way around. Like, majority of my peers did not read books normally, but they really liked Halo, and they saw, and their parents or their grandmother or their aunt or whatever, knows they like Halo, and so they saw a Halo book in their bookstore when they were buying something for themselves or they were buying presents. They're like, oh, little Timmy, loves Halo. This is a Halo book. I should get it for Timmy.
Oh boy, good job. You just gave little Timmy nightmares, depending on which one you gave him.
I was gonna say, if you gave little Timmy the Flood, you might have made a mistake.
I made a mistake as a 13-year-old buying that book and reading it. Oh boy.
That was a. Ooh.
Hey, you want a graphic description about how the Flood works?
No.
You want a graphic description of what you see in Keys' mind that we totally didn't need to see the whole time?
But again,
so that part was bad.
But also, do you want to hear about how the prophets also chopped off an elite's
head? Oh God, Nexus! Don't make me feel so old. Nexus is reminds me of the time that I got the Flood and First Strike as my Halo books at age 8.
I actually started reading Halo books before I even played the games.
That's the worst part. 15.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad that my first Halo book was The Fall of Reach, at least.
Oh, that was
because otherwise the Flood probably would have put me off of that series.
Really?
If that had been my first book.
Oh, also,
yeah, I actually started with Fall of Reach, I think.
Oh.
That's dumb. Anyway, what I was gonna say was,
what?
I really liked. I'll give the Anniversary Edition credit for this. It did a fantastic job of taking those things from Keys and putting them in a video format. That made it so much better / worse.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, let's finish this story up.
Oh, why can't we just be done?
No, because you guys delayed me. Anyway.
No, hang on a second. You could have told that and shut the fuck up at any point in the last 30 minutes.
I could, but I like talking about Halo.
Don't blame me for your negligence, sir.
I will absolutely blame. I didn't say it's your fault. I'm just saying I'm blaming you.
Move on.
That's the... We need to have a talk about your use of words later.
Move on.
Especially don't believe women that call themselves goddesses. Okay. I mean, you're dead. You've admitted you're dead, and then some woman goes, "Yo, hey, I'm the god of dead. Congratulations on your fight, Spartan. But your time's up." I mean, admittedly, I would be skeptical, but I wouldn't be like, "Oh, she's clearly a hallucination / enemy infiltrator." It's like, you remember dying.
Vividly.
You remember dying. You spent a whole paragraph complaining about how you died.
Also, Spartan 3s would not have the same level of hate for Halsey that a Spartan 2 would.
Yes. Six side and...
I would say all Spartans have an equal amount of hate for Halsey, usually.
Wait, guys, listen to this. He sighed and checked his gear. Surprisingly, his shotgun, DMR, and AR were strapped to his back, 2 A6 pistols, a Covenant, and every Covenant weapon was also strapped to him with a backpack of 12 plasma grenades and an energy sword.
No, not his.
And his energy sword, of course. At the very least, if this place was some experiment, he could easily fight his way out.
So I'd like to remind you, author, that even with Mjolnir power armor, the most weapons we ever see the Chief carry at a time is 6.
Is it 6?
Because I think in some of the Halo 2 box art, he had 2 pistols, a BR on his back.
No, it was
battle rifle in his hands.
It was 2 SMGs. Pistol.
No, I know there was the 2 SMGs, but I think he had a pistol on there, at least 1 pistol.
Yeah, it was 1 pistol, 2 SMGs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So it was 5.
Based on the design
Shotgun,
of his armor,
AR.
he could have a pistol on each hip, 2 SMGs on the lower back, and then probably
No, the
10 assault
SMGs were on
rifles.
thigh holsters.
Yeah, the SMGs were on the thighs.
Yeah, so Mac, it was SMGs on the thighs, pistols at the side, 1 back slot for a primary, and then 1 primary in your hands.
Yeah.
Because that was like the big thing about Halo was you could carry 2 guns.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
You could carry 4 guns if you dual wielded correctly.
Well, in Halo 2, yes.
Let's see. Yes, I remember this from your commander's memories. Quite the face of that which you do not know. Yeah, don't worry about it. I know this may get confusing, but I'm totally telling you the truth, mate. At least you didn't die a stupid death like your teammates.
Also, why would this massive edgelord care about his teammates being insulted?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Given that George is apparently like an alternate universe where he's a fucking asshole.
Oh, did George drug me? Man, they all fucking left me here. Oh, don't talk shit about my teammates. It's like, wait, what? You're just complaining about them. So, come on.
Yeah.
Quite angrily.
That was a fast change in speech. What was wrong with this girl? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark. Just keep quiet. She might keep talking. Not very talkative, are you? He just looked at her. All right, I think I understand. I should probably just give you 2 choices. You can either go to heaven, which, by the way, isn't what you think it is. I see no atheists in foxhole seems to work here. Yeah, anyway, heaven is really boring. No internet, no phones, no guns, and no sex.
Why am I listening
I'm sorry.
to the lesser-known cousin of the merchant at the moment?
Mostly
why part-time as a goddess?
Because, yeah, it's just, it's really weird. The author was just like, I'm just going to change how Aqua talks now.
Also, by the way, if this person knows who a Spartan is, by the way, I'm talking about Aqua here.
Yeah.
The last one matters not a whit to the Spartans, and clearly this person doesn't know anything about the games or the extended universe in the slightest, because, like, it gets mentioned, like, once a book. Spartans no bone.
No bone. And he zapped her with his shield.
Excuse me?
That's not how that works. She backed away, partially electrified.
Not how that works.
Not how that works at all. I could reincarnate you, or alternatively,
punch in Halo.
Alternatively, I could resurrect you into a new world. The Spartan crossed his arms. He took Psych 101. I mean, Oni Psych Warfare. Because of how the author's setting up this whole thing. He's fucking badass.
Yeah.
You can respawn in a new world with some sort of power with you. You get to pick 1 extra item you get to bring beyond what's on you right now. 1 special power from any video game, weapon, or person to help you fight.
What?
Spartan was taken aback by that. While fighting a demon king and his devil forces of evil sounded like an old RPG he heard of one time.
No, he wouldn't have.
No, not at the age of 17 in Spartan program, at least.
Not
if he heard about it, it would have been from someone on base.
I got news for you. Even if you took a 10-year-old who was orphaned by the Covenant, by the time they get through the Spartan program, the only things that are left in them is hate and chemicals.
More or less, yeah.
Because
it's not
remember,
to say that
part of the Spartan 3 program was, guys, remind them every day that aliens killed their parents, so they get angrier.
Yeah. So then the author has the Noble 6 go, oh man, she said 1 thing. Could I wish for the team of Noble to be alive again? Could he revive them all? No, he has to let them rest. They died good deaths. And plus, the girl might be bluffing. Also, insert like 10 bajillion ellipses. Because, people think in pauses, right?
Yeah, once again,
I don't.
I mean, maybe low IQ people do. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a friendly reminder to once again, don't do that. Like, yes,
I mean, I
a
use
member of Noble Team would have
ellipses.
absolutely, pretty much any Spartan would have been like, if I can bring back even one Spartan, I should.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, I can bring one thing with me? Pillar on the Dawn!
I'm sorry, what?
I can bring one thing with me? Pillar on the Dawn.
Oh, you mean Pillar of Autumn?
Yeah, we're literally.
You combine the Forward Unto Dawn with the Pillar of Autumn.
Doesn't matter. You get my point, though. It's just like literally just
something with a big gun.
I don't know. Say big fucking gun from space.
We're going to orbitally bombard the.
Hey, Demon King. Yeet.
Or like even just like a warthog, because remember, warthogs have a functionally infinite gas in the lore.
Yep. God, that's so
no,
because they have some kind of fancy engine that runs off hydrogen, so you can keep it running by doing all sorts of things.
Yeah. Anyway, he wanted to think about it more, so he sighed and shook his head and clenched his fist and he pointed at her. Me? Why do you pick me? Why literally anyone else? You antisocial piece of shit. And then a blue circle formed around her, and then he said, sorry, he didn't say this, he thought it. That ought to teach you for making fun of my teammates and me, bitch. And then a blue light circled around him. Oh, brave warrior of the Earth Realm. I'll teleport you now. Yeah. Wow. So original. Yeah. Amazing. That's the best Spartan portrayal ever.
I'm not gonna lie. Like,
don't care about the rest of it.
She said
blah, blah, blah.
one thing about his teammates, and the most she did to him.
Wait. What
did you find?
Wait, what is this ending? Let's go on a kill quest. The goddess thing's uncalled for. Go to sleep, he said. The Spartan swallowed because he heard a ding from his waist, and he removed a canister from his belt. It was a chip. The package. Why did he have the package? Aqua turned around and looked at him directly into the eyes and said, "Oh, I see. You found a copy of the package." "Yes, it's a copy, not the real deal." "Why did you make this? I thought I forgot it and didn't drop it off on the autumn. A little reminder of home. One that doesn't cause you to go into deep thoughts or depression. Good night, Six."
Yes. The package would literally make him... That's the worst possible thing you could give him next to a set of their tags.
Oh my god. "This is intriguing. This is how a Mjolnir suit feels. Oh, hello. You must be Noble 6. I'm Cortana, Smart AI.
Oh my god.
I'm guessing we're going to be working together?" "Yeah, I guess so," he whispers.
God damn it.
But why?
Also, apparently he's racist against AIs.
I mean, yeah, that one's weird, but...
It's just, God, it's so, like... Hey, let's take this one feature about the Chief and just give it to this fucking random mooc, because that's, yeah, okay, you know what, that's par for the course for a shitty self-insert fanfiction. Of course, the OC self-insert Spartan gets Cortana.
Yeah, I'm sorry, by the way. What it is, it can convert 12 liters of fresh, brackish, or salt water into hydrogen on the fly. To try to compact it on board, this allows the Warthog to travel 790 kilometers or 490 miles before it needs to be refueled. Alright, well, we managed to fit that in, even if for a little detour, and I appreciate everyone staying around for this long, because, I gotta finish those Halo stories, because God, do I hate Halo fanfiction. Honestly, I have never read Halo fanfiction, like, genuinely off-screen,
Because
no, I don't either.
It's all bad. It's all fucking garbage. It's all really shit, self-insert trash, where they just completely mischaracterize Cortana and the Chief, or some, mix of the two. It's so, God, it's so bad. Anyway, see y'all next time, next Tuesday, same time, same place. There's always more, and it always gets worse.